Konnichiwa everybody, and welcome back to yet another pickups video. Not too much of a mixed bag today. It's mainly Sega, mostly Saturn, but there are a few other bits. If you're not Saturn or Sega inclined, you might want to skip this one, but there is a few other bits for everybody else. We'll start with this one first. I've not tried it yet. I'm expecting it to be total horse shite. But it was in cash converters. I just happened to see this and it was cheap. I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Or as I like to call it, I'm not a celebrity. Get me in there. I need publicity. It's got to be crap in it, let's be honest. But I think I've got all the other like TV type game show games for the Wii, and this was the only one I hadn't got. So I thought, well, for £1 or 50p, whatever it was, I'm going to take a chance. It is complete, but I've not got round to trying it yet. But if it's anything other than a turd, I'll be amazed. Right. Has anybody played that? Is it worth even putting in the machine? Right, and from the same shop, it was slim pickings, but I did manage to find this one as well, and it's in cracking nick. It must have just been dropped off, I think. It looks almost as new, and it's a game I've got on the Dreamcast, and then I think they released it as a later release on the PS2. And that's Le Mans 24 Hour. And it was actually quite good on the Dreamcast back in the day. I've not played it for like 20 years now. So, but it's in lovely condition. I'm assuming it's at least as good, or you'd hope possibly better. But I've not got around to trying it yet. So that was £1 or something like that. So I was chuffed to get that. And we'll see if it's as good as the Dreamcast. Right, now the VHS rabbit hole. I sense myself getting deeper and deeper. I was looking at all kinds of shit on Facebook, all bundles of VHS you could pick up local, and it was all, ooh, let's have that, oh, let's go and fetch that. But then somewhere in the back of my mind, some little voice sort of woke me up and said, what the fuck are you doing? I can't be collecting VHS to that extent. I haven't got space, and I'm not going to watch it. It's stupid to buy to look at. So I somehow stopped myself buying loads of bundles. I'm just going to stick to a few choice titles, and mainly music videos, because I'll put them on in the background and I can listen to them when I'm doing other stuff. But that said, this was one I found on eBay. You might have caught a glimpse then, and I thought, this is one I've got to have, and it's the Indiana Jones trilogy. Well, the first three, obviously, in a nice little slip case, like the Back to the Future one I bought in the previous video. It's in lovely condition, but it's just, that's just cool, isn't it? Wrong way. But yeah, got all three films, the original three. A lot of people shit on the fourth one, don't they? But I quite like it. But yeah, I was chuffed with that one. But I've got a ladder. I've climbed out of the rabbit hole. I'm only going to briefly dip my toe in the water in the future. He says. We'll see how long that lasts, eh? Right. What shall we show next? We'll get these out of the way first. Now, if you remember in the previous video, I bought the arcade racer for the Saturn, and I've now tried it, and much to my amazement, it did improve matters on Sega Touring Car. So if anybody out there who was interested and mentioned it in the comments, it does actually improve matters slightly. It's still a turd to play, but it is slightly better with the arcade racer rather than the normal controller. After which I then tried the analog controller again, and it's definitely better with that. I think that's better than the arcade racer. So if you want to play touring car, I suggest playing it with an analog Saturn controller. And it also did improve Daytona CCE as well, which again, the controls had been ruined on that for me, and that is also better with the arcade racer. So it turns out it was a good thing to buy. So I don't know why, but I started looking at other things, you know, in that kind of line, and I managed to find this. Now this is like it's a Logic 3 steering wheel, as you can see, but it actually works on the Saturn, the PlayStation and the N64. Now I've not tried it on the PlayStation and the N64, but the reason I bought this, it shows you better on the side, is it comes with pedals and a gear stick, and I'd already tried the arcade racer at this point when I bought this, and so I was kind of sceptical about this being a third party controller, and much to my amazement again, it was actually quite good, and I think this is better than the arcade racer, possibly because you've got the pedals as well, which really transformed it. And again with the gear stick, again that kind of transformed it as well over the official arcade racer. So I'm absolutely chuffed with this. This is a brilliant purchase. If you're into that kind of thing and you're thinking of a wheel for the Saturn, you might want to think about that instead if you can find one. There are a few on eBay. I have looked. But yeah, really good this. Whether I'm assuming it's probably just as good on the PlayStation and N64. I'll get round to trying it at some point, but it's not in bad condition either, to be honest. The box is reasonable, and inside I don't think it's had much use at all, so I'm really chuffed with that. Right. But that said, I think for touring car, if you're interested, like from the previous video, the analog controller is still the way to go. Right, now again, that led me on to something else. It was a conversation I'd had with Daz, one of the people I talked to in the comments, and I completely forgot there was a steering wheel for the Dreamcast. I'd never had one back in the day. I think probably because I hated the Saturn arcade racer, so I thought, well, I'm not going to waste my money on the Dreamcast steering wheel. And so, like I say, I never had one, and you know, 20 years down the line, I completely forgot it even existed until Daz said in the comments. So thanks for reminding me, Daz. So I thought, after I had this success with the two Saturn wheels, I thought, well, you know, I'm going to try and track down a Dreamcast wheel, because Daz had said to me Daytona on the Dreamcast played better with the wheel, and again, that was something I never got on very well with back in the day, because I didn't like the controls on it. So I thought, right, we need to try it. So hunting around, and we managed to find a nice boxed one. Box not in bad condition at all, really. It's quite good, in fact. Unfortunately, it's got some water damage on the top. I don't know if you can see it. It must have had some, it's not been soaking wet, but they must have had some drops of water soak into it, maybe in a shed or something, I don't know, but unfortunately the top's got a bit sort of warped and water stained, which is a shame, but you know. But inside it needed a clean, but I've cleaned it all up and it's come up lovely. And it's got all the internal packaging. Don't think it's actually had much use. In cracking condition. But more to the point, tried it on the Dreamcast, on Daytona in particular, and again it's improved it. I'm actually quite liking Daytona on the Dreamcast now, playing it with this. The one downside, I think, again, which Daz had mentioned to me, there's no pedals, which kind of is a shame, because I do feel it'd be even better with pedals. But the analog triggers do work. I mean, you can see why they didn't include pedals. I mean, probably save money. But the analog control on the paddles does actually work reasonably well, I'd say. But I do think it would have been even better with pedals. But on the whole, absolutely chuffed to get that as well. So both of those have really improved games which I'd sort of cast aside as being spoilt by dodgy controls. So I'm enjoying getting back into them now. Right, we've just got games left, and these are they're all Saturn now. So if you're not interested in Saturn, adios. Okay, I don't mind if you want to switch on. Right, now this is one I had way back when it came out. It was one of the first games to get released in Japan. I remember having it on import, and that's Jaylee Victory Goal. This later turned into Worldwide Soccer on the PAL version. But I remember thinking this was okay back in the day. You know, nothing to shout about. But I bought this. I bought a few of these. I think I bought maybe four of these in a bundle together, and that's how I came by this. But I've put it on, and I actually think it's quite good. I think I like it more now than I did back in the day. Really simple arcadey style football game, which is the only kind of football game I'd play. Still looks okay, so that really surprised me. And for, you know, you're probably buying that for less than a £5. Really shocked by how much I enjoyed that. That then made me buy this one, and that's Victory Goal 96. And I've not tried this one yet. It's going to be more or less the same, I would imagine. I do remember back in the day thinking this one was much better than the first one now, so hopefully, if I still think that now, this should be bloody excellent, because I really like the original. There is a Victory Goal 97 as well, which I'm on the lookout for, and you can also get international Victory Goal, which is basically sort of all the worldwide teams that were on the PAL version. So again, I'm going to look out for that. This was one of the games that came in this bundle I bought, and unfortunately it's called I don't know what it's called. It's something like it's kind of a management game, J-League Football Manager game, make your own club or something it's called, I forgot. It's all Japanese text, you can't really understand what's going on, and you just seem to watch the games and, you know, make the decisions. So, you know, it's not playable really, but you know, it's worthless, so it'll stop on the shelf. Now this one, again, is another one I had back in the day and really enjoyed, and not played for 20 years. Thought I'd pick it up again because it's pretty cheap, and that's Greatest 9. Now this is baseball, if you're not aware. And this was actually released in Europe. well, and America for that matter, under the name World Series Baseball. But the Japanese one is Greatest Nine, and I really enjoyed this back in the day. Again, it's sort of doesn't take itself too seriously. It's not like a cartoony arcadey style game. It is a serious baseball game, but it plays very arcadey, and it still plays well today. I still like it, and if you do like baseball, again, you can't go far wrong with that for the money. Again, that then spurred me on to collect Greatest 997, which is there's a 96. This is the third one, if you like. And I haven't tried this one yet, but hopefully it should be just as good. They did change it up slightly, I remember, in later versions, but I'm not sure I ever tried 97. And then I've also bought 98. This is the one I remember being really, really good back in the day, and the best one. But again, I've not tried this yet either. This one, they made the sprites bigger, as I remember. But yeah, I do remember it being really, really good. And then on PAL, there was World Series Baseball on PAL, and there was World Series Baseball 98, I think. But I've never played the PAL version 98, and I'm not sure if it's actually this game. I don't know, or if it's based on 97 Japanese. I don't know. Then the final one in this sort of series, there's a Japanese version of World Series Baseball, which is basically the version we got with the sort of American teams, if you like. And there's a lot of English text in this as well, so this has turned out to be a fantastic purchase. Because obviously in the Greatest Nine baseball games, they're all Japanese baseball teams, where this one are the teams you've heard of. But that don't matter to me really. I just want to play the game. But that said, this is great. So as I say, I'm on the lookout now for Greatest 996. Then nearly there. This one, I saw the cover of this on eBay, and I thought, I've seen that before. I remember either playing or having that game back in the day. Couldn't remember a thing about it. And it just got me curious. And I just couldn't remember what it was or what it was like. So I had a Google, watched a couple of short videos on YouTube. Didn't ring any bells. I thought, I'm going to risk it. And I haven't tried it yet. But it's a one-on-one fighter. But it was the cover. I know I've had or played this before, but it's completely gone out of my memory. And it's called Outlaws of the Lost Dynasty, and it's by Data East. Now, from what I've read online, it doesn't seem terrible, but it don't get glowing reviews. But I don't know. I've got this memory in the back of my mind that this was a decent game. Has anybody out there played it? Am I wrong? Is my memory playing tricks on me? Is it an absolute turd? I don't know. But if you can see on there, it looks decent on the box. So I'm eager to give it a try. Unfortunately, the manual is quite creased. I might take a leaf out of Tootie's book and get the iron out and try and straighten that up a bit. But I'm quite curious to play that. Then this next one, I don't think I ever had this on the Saturn back in the day. I played this on the Neo CD. and it's only come this morning, so I haven't tried it yet. And that's Samurai Shodown 3. Now the first two are absolute classics on the Neo Geo for me. I don't remember liking number 3 as much on the Neo Geo as I did the first two. But it's been a long time. Maybe I might think differently now. But when I saw it, I thought I'm gonna take a chance, and it's in quite good condition. And so yeah, anybody out there got any memories of Samurai Shodown 3 and how it compares with the first two? Right, now the last two, you may say I've crossed over to the dark side. I am your father, Luke. Because I don't know if you're aware, the Saturn now is really collectible, and some games are extortionately expensive. You know, you can be talking, you know, well, I mean, anything decent's more than likely going to be 50 quid plus. But a lot of it's in the hundreds. And that's way beyond what I can afford. And even if I could justify spending on a game, to be honest. So I've decided to go down the repro route for the expensive games, because I want to play them, I want to experience them, and I'd rather play, you know, a repro game on the actual hardware with the actual controller rather than emulation. Just my sort of take on it. Whatever way you want to play it's fine, you know, but you know, I prefer this route. Obviously I prefer the genuine ones, but finances don't allow it, so I'm going to get a few repros, and on that basis I've got two here anyway. I've got a couple of sort of sources where to get them from, and I'm sort of trying them off both to see which one, if there's any difference, basically, if one's any better than the other. The first ones I've tried have been good, and the second place I've tried has also been good, so it don't matter, both places are great. Anyway, I'll shut up waffling. Yeah, so I've bought two to start with. I have ordered a couple more which haven't come yet. Now this first one, these are Japanese style, obviously. You can choose whether you have them Japanese or PAL style in DVD boxes, but I wanted them Japanese to match my other games. And they are really nice repros, to be fair. You know, they look reasonably authentic. You can tell they're not genuine. And even, you know, the discs are printed up nice like the proper ones, but it's just you don't get the manual, obviously. But yeah, this is I don't know how you go about saying it. It's Shenryu. Say it how you will. Shenryu. I'll go with. Anyway, so I saw somebody show this, and I've got a feeling it was Red 7. Sorry if I forgot who it was, but I think it was Red 7. And it looked good because it looked like Tatsujin, and I'm not massive into shooters, but Tatsujin's my favourite one. And this, I wasn't aware of this, and like I say, I saw this video, I think it was Red 7, who's got an amazing room and does some great pickup videos. If you're into your import stuff, check out Red 7. I'll put a link in the description. Awesome channel. But yeah, regardless whether it was him or not anyway, wherever I saw this looks good, I want to try this. But then obviously I looked for it, you know, online, and a genuine one's like crazy money, hence the reason for this. And I have kind of made a conscious sort of decision. I'm going to try and play a few more shooters, because I do like shooters. I'm just crap at them. But I probably, down to the fact that I've never really given them sort of much of my time because, you know, because I don't do very well on them. I get frustrated and switch them off. But practice makes perfect, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and do a few, you know, have a few more efforts on some shooters. But anyway, this is blooming good, I've got to say. And it does remind me of Tatsujin. So again, if you do like that, like me, or Truxton as the PAL version's called, I definitely recommend, I'm not saying buy a genuine one, but if you can emulate that or play that in some way, that is, well, it does seem a cracking game. Then the other one I've bought, again, another shooter. Now this is one I have wanted for quite a few years. I was well aware of this, and again it's well north of 100 quid for a genuine one. So I thought this is the time and the way to try it, and that's Baffled Garriga. Now I always wanted this because it looked a bit sort of, I suppose it looked, you know, kind of Second World War-y, you know, Aerofighters 1942 style game. That's why it appealed to me, because I like that kind of aesthetic. And again, this is another cracking game. I'm liking this. I'm not doing that well, obviously, so far on either of them, but I'm persevering, and I'm determined to get a bit better. And again, it's the same scenario. But yes, Baffled Garriga. So I've crossed into the dark side of repros, and I'll be delving a little bit deeper. But I've also crossed a dangerous threshold, and there's a danger of falling down the shooter rabbit hole. I know there are many of you guys out there are experts, especially you, Edda. So I'm going to be buying a few more. I'm in the process of setting up a screen so I can play them properly in tape mode. And we'll see how we get on. Hopefully I can improve a bit. But it don't matter really. I'm enjoying them, so that's all that matters, isn't it? And we'll see where it takes us. There's loads on the Saturn. You know, I've wrote a list of all the ones I want to try and track down, and you know, there's quite a lot. So it'll keep me entertained for a few months, I think. But with that's the end of the pickups for today. I've waffled on a bit too long now, I think, 28 minutes. So I'll say thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Sayonara.